here. Looks like we're ready. We got our lines. Got jackets out just in case. We've got some life jackets. Dinghy's ready. We've got our lines ready to let go as soon as we are ready to go to the fuel dock real quick. It's just right around the corner. And we've got everything on the helm ready to go. Tide's low.
All right.
Jay.
It's gonna happen.
All right. Up the side. Full view of the cockpit. We had a storm last night, but the winds are good. It's supposed to clear up, be a beautiful day. So we're getting ready to set sail. So you're probably wondering where we're going. We are headed to Dauphin Island. So we got off the fuel dock and we headed out under the bridge to Dauphin Island. It's a little island outside of Mobile Bay. It's about 26 miles to Dauphin Island, and we were so excited to be moving, and we were also a little terrified. Now here we are, getting ready to head out of the Dog River and enter the Mobile Bay once we get under the bridge. But I am still a little nervous about bridges. Now I know we came in under this bridge. We should fit. It's supposed to be 74 feet tall, but I am still really nervous about bridges. Our mast is 65 foot tall. So we've got about 10 feet plus or minus tide, and we're at low tide at this point. So again, I'm fairly confident we're going to fit, but again, bridges make me really nervous. So the reason they make me nervous is because we have a lot of equipment on that mast. There's the wind information center, the Garmin, we've got all the sail rigging, and if something happens to that mast and it gets knocked over by a bridge, it would not be good, and the repairs would be incredibly expensive. Alright. The bridge is 73 feet tall. Our mast is 64 feet tall, and we are at low tide. So we should definitely fit. I'm not going to panic. Not going to panic. Watch your depth. We are going at a whopping probably, I don't know, 3 knots. The wind is low. And here we go under the bridge. Cross fingers. Oh shit, it never looks like it's gonna fit. It never looks like it's gonna fit. Ah! Holy crap, it fit. Oh. Yes, now we're gonna be going through those channel markers you see. And we're off to Dauphin Island. So after the bridge, we enter the channel, stay between the markers, and the channel is, it's nice to be in the channel because there's defined lanes, like, you know, driving a car, but there is a lot of heavy traffic, and those tankers and cargo ships are a lot bigger than we are, so it's a little scary, but also we're still very excited because we're headed out and going somewhere new. So this is a Navy ship that hailed us on the radio and asked us to just scoot over a little bit more, which is always uncomfortable when you're at the edge of the lane because it can go from, you know, 30 feet to 2 feet really quick. But we got over as far as we were comfortable with so that they could pass us. Scout! Come on. Good boy. Yeah. There's the Navy ship we had to move over for. Good boy. So while Jay was driving, Scout and I watched the Navy ship pass us, And once they passed us, they turned on the sirens, which was really cool. I guess that was a kind of a way to say thank you, but it was awesome. Great experience. So it's really obvious here when we're leaving part of the Mobile Bay and the channel that we were in. The water goes from looking really muddy to not quite muddy, but not blue either. So that was a real interesting distinction on our trip over to Dauphin. And then now we just have about 4 hours to go and 26 miles. And yeah, if you're wondering, we don't move very fast. So we made it to Dauphin Island, into kind of a little lagoon area. It was very smooth. It's surrounded by white sand beaches. On one side of the island, there is a restaurant, and we drove this island at one point while in Mobile when we had a rental car. It took a couple hours just to get there and drive around. A bunch of cute little cottages. Not much activity on the island that time of year, but it looks like a great place to spend a little vacation on the beach. And we did enjoy those beaches. So we got to Dauphin Island, we relaxed that night, fixed dinner, and then the next morning we got in the dinghy and headed out to those white sand beaches. It was Andy and Scout's first time in the dinghy, and they actually did really well for their first time. So Jay took us around the boat once just to check it out, checked on the anchor. It's the first time we'd anchored out, so a little stressful, but we got through it, and the anchor held all night. We didn't have any issues. So one thing when we took our ASA courses, our captain told us about some anchor apps where you can download the app and then you can mark where you set your anchor, and you can set a radius and it'll tell you if you've moved. It throws up a heart-wrenching alarm actually, but I know it's not supposed to be the peace of mind you want, but it's a peace of mind I kind of need being so new at this. So as we got a little closer to the beaches, the water got a little clearer and the beaches got a little wider. So it was our first experience getting off the boat and going to a beach. So we were so excited. And here's Andy and Scout. They actually did great jumping out of the dinghy. Andy doesn't really like a lot of water, so he was a little hesitant about getting out, but once on the beach, they absolutely loved it. So we spent a lot of time on the beach that day, just walking around, probably walked a couple miles. The dogs absolutely loved it, and we were so excited about being at our first anchorage and our first white sand beach off of the boat. You can see Scout was a little iffy about the waves, but he was trying to figure it out. But as we walked along, they got a little more comfortable. We had to stop and let Andy rest for a little bit before we got back on the dinghy and go back to the boat. So back on the dinghy, I think you can tell Scout absolutely loves this. He is just excited and hangs on to the edge the whole time while we finally get back to the boat. And then the next morning, Jay is pulling up the anchor so we can head off to our next destination. So stay tuned as we set sail down the coast of Florida. So we hope you enjoy watching, and hopefully you'll give us a like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next adventure.